Europe didn't become the Europe we know overnight. It was shaped by 5 moments, 5 decisions, battles, revolutions that changed the entire course of history. One sparked centuries of war, one redrew every map, and one invented the modern world. Let's break down the 5 moments that made Europe what it is today. Our first stop, the year 312 CE. A Roman emperor named Constantine is marching toward Rome to fight for power. On the eve of battle, he reportedly sees a vision, a cross in the sky, with the words, "In this sign, conquer." The next day, he wins. Shortly after, Constantine legalizes Christianity, and the Roman Empire begins its transformation into a Christian civilization. This single decision shaped the identity of Europe for over 1,500 years. Cathedrals, crusades, universities, it all starts here. Had he lost that battle, the continent's dominant religion, politics, and culture could have looked entirely different. Jump forward to 800 CE. A man named Charlemagne is crowned Emperor of the Romans by the Pope. He unites much of Western Europe under one rule, creating the foundations of what we now call France and Germany. But more than that, Charlemagne sparks a cultural revival. He builds schools, preserves classical texts, and centralizes law and administration. It's sometimes called the Carolingian Renaissance. Without it, much of ancient knowledge might have been lost to the Dark Ages. Charlemagne isn't just a king. He's the blueprint for European monarchy. Let's fast forward again, this time to 1517. In a small German town, a monk named Martin Luther nails 95 theses to a church door. He's not trying to start a revolution, he just wants to debate. But what he sparks is the Protestant Reformation. Within decades, Europe is split. Nations align with either Protestantism or Catholicism. Wars erupt. Over 8 million people die during the 30 Years' War alone. But this division also weakens the church's grip, paving the way for new ideas like democracy, individual rights, and freedom of religion. The Reformation cracks open Europe's mind. Now, the year is 1789. A mob storms the Bastille in Paris. The French Revolution begins. At first, it's a call for liberty, equality, and fraternity. But within a few years, it becomes violent and chaotic. Still, what comes from it is undeniable. Monarchies start to fall. The concept of a citizen, not a subject, takes hold. Napoleon rises, conquers, and spreads revolutionary ideals all across the continent. The modern political world, left versus right, secularism, nationalism, has its roots here. And finally, 1945. Europe is in ruins after World War II. Tens of millions are dead, cities are flattened. But instead of going back to old rivalries, leaders do something radical. They begin to cooperate. They form institutions. First economic agreements, then political ones. By 1993, this idea evolves into the European Union. What began as an attempt to stop another war becomes one of the largest economic and political entities on Earth. Europe turns from battleground to bureaucracy. So, what do these 5 moments have in common? Each marks a shift, not just in politics, but in how people saw themselves. From empire to church, from monarchs to citizens, from war to union. These moments didn't just change borders, they changed the European mind.